Hello and welcome to the Rivals podcast, the podcast with one Spurs fan, one Arsenal fan, and a massive rivalry between us. I'm joined today, as I'm joined every episode, by Cambridge, the Arsenal fan. How are you?
I'm great. What? I'm great after week
I
one.
thought you would
It's
be.
very strange for an Arsenal fan to be okay, like mentally and physically after week one. But yeah, I'm all good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm very good after week one, top of the
Yeah.
league. What more could I ask
I
for?
mean, we'll get into the
Yeah,
reason behind that, but hey ho.
took me 32 seconds to bring
Yeah.
that up. I think you're in the top four. Are you in the top four?
I
I'm
think
sure you're
we
in the top
are
four.
third. We are third currently. Let me get the table up right now.
Behind
Oh no,
Bournemouth, if I remember
we're
rightly. But
second in the league, buddy. They've bumped us up a whole
oh, you
place.
how have they
I
managed
don't
that
know
then?
why.
Because Bournemouth comes before Arsenal in the alphabet.
Well, I don't know. I don't know.
No, Bournemouth is second according to my
Oh,
table.
well, I've
Oh,
just refreshed it. Hang on, let's see if I can get that on camera.
well,
Does that? Yeah, there it is on my table.
mine says
It
Bournemouth
says Arsenal.
second.
But hey ho. Hey ho.
Interesting. Anyway, whatever. Doesn't really make much difference. You both won 2-0 on game week one. You kicked the season off at Selhurst Park in a fixture that I thought you were struggling a lot more than you did. I didn't actually see it all because I was out for a lot of Friday. I saw sort of the last 20 minutes or so. You didn't look great in that last 20 minutes. I'm not going to lie. I thought Palace probably looked better but didn't take their chances. But you'll have to give me an overview of the game as a whole. I didn't see it.
I basically I try and sum up games in one sentence. But for me, it was a great performance that gradually got worse. So you were bang on that. The last 20 minutes were a bit harem scarum.
Okay.
But I think for anyone that actually saw the game, we looked great in the first kind of half an hour. We looked like a top level club. Everyone was, doing their bit. All the new signings. Gabriel Jesus was on fire. Zinchenko was brilliant. And then, we scored the first goal, and then shit didn't necessarily hit the fan, but we weren't as dominant all of a sudden. Crystal Palace found a new kind of breath of life. Continued that in the second half, and were basically just pushing. And then, well, until we netted the second one with kind of like 5 minutes to go. So it was touch and go for a while, but on the whole, it was a very good performance from us.
Fair enough. We'll talk about some standout players in a minute. I felt like from the little bit I saw, it looked like Palace missed Gallagher quite a lot in terms of getting the ball to the strikers to finish the chances. Don't get me wrong, they missed a couple of howlers they definitely should have scored. But equally, I feel like they didn't have the second to final ball kind of
I mean,
player.
they should have had, from my knowledge. I mean, from just remembering it, they definitely should have had two. The Eze chance, I think it was in the first half. It was a great save by Ramsdale, but he should be sticking that in. And Edward, is he their striker? Edward.
Yeah,
He
I
missed
think
a
so.
bit
I
of a
did see Ramsdale make one very
yeah.
good
No,
save in the bit
he
I
missed a
watched.
bit of a sitter. A header
Oh.
from like 5 yards out. But
Ooh.
speaking of Aaron Ramsdale, obviously I praised him pretty much the whole episode 1 of this podcast.
You did? You
Um,
did?
the man was a little bit dodgy. He was a little bit dodgy.
Was he?
Just
The bit I saw,
no,
I thought you were going to come on here and be
no.
like,
He
he's the
was. He was
greatest keeper
brilliant.
we've
He
ever
was
had.
brilliant. In my notes right here, I've got great in spells. Trying to sum up this man, he was fantastic.
It's not great for a
And
keeper, though.
then, like, sometimes you just didn't quite feel safe with him in. You didn't
Oh.
like he'd make one of his diving, going for an Oscar saves, and it'd be, he'd save it, but then he'd be scrambling, and I think against the bigger clubs, we're going to struggle on second chances. I feel like we're going to, because
What, when the ball's like bobbling around the
Ramsdale
area?
does one of his Oscar moves, and it's a brilliant save, but then because he's bobbled it, Haaland will just tap it in.
Yeah. Fair.
But other than that, I thought he was brilliant. Saliba, obviously, I didn't mention him a lot episode 1, but he was fantastic. Didn't really set a foot wrong.
I heard a lot about
Saliba
him.
was absolutely phenomenal. Zinchenko, brilliant. I've already touched on Gabriel Jesus. Literally, if he hadn't have passed it off, well, he didn't really pass it off. It was a bit of a shot. But if he would have finished, you probably saw a highlight of it. Martinelli should have stuck it in the back of the net. I don't know what he was doing. Honestly, it was. I don't know if you saw, but it wasn't the greatest way to start off a season in my book for Martinelli. But yeah, Gabriel Jesus looks brilliant for us. like I said.
I don't think he's ever been a bad player, but City's system did not suit the number 9. I still don't think it does particularly. I think they're going to have to work quite hard to adapt Haaland
I
in.
mean,
But considering he was a backup striker to an imaginary person at City, he's doing quite well.
But his replacement did pretty well week 1 as well. Not gonna lie.
That is true, yeah.
After I said Haaland was going to be the flop of the year, he did. I think he heard. I think he listened to me and he stuck to it. But that's not the point.
You never know. There's only one game week in. He could have a mighty fall from grace from here.
Exactly. But
He's still not in my fantasy team, so I'm sticking with.
I haven't
Harry
actually
Kane
set up
on
my
that front.
fantasy team yet this year. I haven't. I really haven't.
That is
I
shocking.
really haven't. Honestly, I've done it for the last 2 years, and every time I've touched it and put an Arsenal player in there, he's either got injured or had a shit season. So I haven't. I even touched it this year.
I don't think I've got any Arsenal players in mind. That's nothing against Arsenal. I just don't think I had a terrible week.
I mean,
no, I don't have any Arsenal players.
I'm not surprised, Dan. I'm really not surprised. Being a Spurs fan, I mean, I wouldn't have a single
Do you know what?
person from Spurs. Maybe Son. Actually, Son might just break.
My best moment in fantasy this week was I swapped out De Gea for Mark Travers in the Bournemouth goal last minute to save a bit of money for to bring Son and Kane in. Well, that worked geniusly. De Gea had a shambles. Travers clean sheet. But we'll get on
to Man United later, shall we?
We'll get on to the other games in a minute. See if you can keep your hatred for just a few seconds. Let's talk about the Spurs game. Did you watch the Spurs game? I'm guessing not live.
I didn't watch live.
I
didn't watch live. I watched a few highlights here and there, and I have my breakdown. But I'll let you break down your team first.
Well, I'm not going to lie. I absolutely pooed my pants when we went 1-0 down. There was so much hype around this season. And then Royale just sort of flops to the floor in the box. Crossover Højbjerg, who misjudged Ward-Prowse's position. Ward-Prowse did a Ward-Prowse and just scored a goal from the edge of the area pretty perfectly.
Brilliant finish.
Yeah, it was a great finish. Lloris was absolutely helpless there. I think Ward-Prowse was their best player easily. He is just... If Southampton didn't have Ward-Prowse, they'd be going down 100% this season. They still might. But he might just about keep them in it. But since we went 1-0 down, the performance was incredible. It was nothing short of incredible, I think, from us.
I wrote on my note, shit the bed, but you changed the sheets. That was my takeaway from the entire game.
Do you know what? That's a good little analogy of the way we played there. We had Sessegnon on the first goal with a beautiful cross from Kulusevski. I want that in a frame on my wall. Just, perfect. Sessegnon at the far post. Yeah, I said near post, I think. I meant far post. Nodding it in. Great. Then got a yellow card about 3 minutes later. Eric Dyer scored. Yeah. England's best centre-back at the moment. He scored. Fantastic. It was a good
header too. I didn't mind that from Eric
Great
Dyer.
Header. Yeah. Great header. Salisu, I don't even know what he was doing. Royale put in the worst cross I've ever seen, scuffed it across the 6-yard box. Salisu just kind of turned around and stuck it in his own net.
What he was doing. I think it was one of those five. You know when you turn up to five-a-side and there's that guy that's had a hard day. He's just been at the pub, but he's come up anyway,
after the night before,
and he's basically just there to score goals for the other team. That's what he was doing.
It wasn't his finest moment in the world. I don't think he's had a finest moment, to be honest. And then Kulusevski scored as well with a Royale assist. Just nice finish, passed it into the bottom corner. Kulusevski does as Kulusevski wants. He had a fantastic game.
He was my. If I had to pick a player of the game, that was Kulusevski was the man.
Him or Sessegnon.
He had a pretty flawless. From what I saw and what I've read, it was pretty flawless. His performance on the first game of the year.
Yeah. He didn't do much wrong, really. And, we've signed players. We've signed Richarlison. We've got Mora. They're all snapping at his heel to try and get in. And that performance was very much like, no, you don't. I'm here. This is my team. This is my position. Back off. I'm here. So, very good. We didn't start any of our new signings, which I thought was quite interesting. We had so much hype, and Conte was like, I'm very happy with the window. Lots of signings to improve the team. And we started none of them. But I'm very, very happy with our performance. I'm trying to see if I missed anything. We made a lot of subs because you can make 5 now. Yeah, we had 18 shots, 8 on target. Just great, really. Good atmosphere at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium.
I think...
Top of the league. I don't really know what else to say other than I'm very, very happy.
The only thing you can really take away from your game was how shit Southampton were. Really. That's the only thing you can really take away. Because, Crystal Palace, I think they're going to be a top 6, 7 team this year. So that victory for us on the first game of the
I'm not
year.
sure where you've got that prediction
Well,
from.
I had it
Though.
in my prediction last week. If you don't remember, but I reckon.
No, I know, but it's just like the Vieira hype train needs
I
to
just think I think they
derail
are.
at some
I
point.
think first game of the year is a little bit rough, but I think we beat a much better team than you did on game week 1. I think they fell apart.
Yeah, you had a harder
They
game.
fell apart, and I think you showed yourself as a decent team. But I didn't say that. Can someone, whoever edits this podcast, that is you, isn't it? Oh shit. Okay,
It's me.
right, well,
I'm not editing it out. I'm not
well,
editing it at all.
I'd
We're
rather
pressing
we
play
did edit that out,
and pressing stop.
but yeah,
Well,
hopefully
that
that
is
isn't held against me.
unfortunate. You're a little bit worried about Tottenham this
No.
year. A little bit
No,
concerned.
I'm not worried. I'm not worried because
No?
you have Chelsea
You
next.
think you're going to finish
and
above
you
us?
are actually going to get absolutely fucking ruined.
I don't think we
No.
are, but we'll move on to game week 2 in a bit. We'll just talk about some others from game week 1. Fulham Liverpool. We said, no chance. Liverpool will breeze that.
Oh, well.
They didn't exactly breeze it, did
no,
they?
they didn't. And I can tell you, the mood was sour up here in the city.
Oh yeah, you live in
the
Liverpool.
mood was definitely sour. There was no cheers. There was nothing. I was getting the train at the time. There was absolutely no beers going everywhere. Everyone was still sober. It was honestly, the mood was absolutely shite.
Problems at the cottage.
But yeah, I mean, first game of the year, I did say they were going to struggle this year. But obviously, it's the first game of the season, so you can't really hold anything against anyone after the first game of the year. Yeah. But yeah, not convincing. We'll say that.
It's also important to note the pitch was dry, as Jurgen Klopp said. That must make it difficult.
I really want to. I love
the man and
Klopp.
his excuses.
I absolutely love him. But stop making shite excuses when you lose or even draw. Just stop. Like you lost. That's it. Like, just take it away. It was your players on the field that made it. Don't blame it on the pitch. Don't blame it on the pitch.
Did you see Fulham's tweet the day after?
I didn't. What was it?
Fulham tweeted they were like Craven Cottage looking lush with a picture of all the sprinklers the day after. It was like, haha.
I love that.
That's like 3 points to Fulham though, drawing with Liverpool.
Fantastic.
Like they've got that fixture out the way. They'll be very, very happy with that. What else do we have? Bournemouth Villa. Now Bournemouth are the only other team whose fortunes I care about in the Premier League because I'm at uni there and because I follow them quite closely. And they did very well. Villa were hopeless. They were shocking. Like that is one of the worst performances I've seen in the Premier League for goodness knows how long. But Bournemouth did what they needed to do with the side pretty much unchanged from the Championship, other than Tavernier's the only one I think that started that wasn't in the Championship. But, fair play. Lerma scored. Lerma's playing in defence. He's not actually a defender. And Kiefer Moore's just ridiculous for that club. I love him. But, yeah, fair. Do you watch it?
I can't really add much to that, to be honest. It was from what I heard and what I read, again, very decent performance. Someone is drilling in my house right now. I don't know if you can hear that, but someone is drilling outside my door. No.
Oh,
well, anyway,
how inconsiderate.
We will keep pushing on.
We'll move on. We'll talk about Leeds and Wolves. To be honest, I think we both gave Leeds absolutely no hope this season, and we both said no, they're down and out. They've lost too many players. Jesse Marsch isn't the man. But to be fair, 3 points against a Wolves side that again looked pretty crap, and who I said or not probably, but who I think might go down.
We did say both teams were going to struggle anyway, but nevertheless, it is a brilliant result for Leeds. My girlfriend was very happy. It was a great weekend for me.
Yeah, I can imagine.
But no, it was a good performance, I think, and I think it's the right way to start off the year for them. There's not really much to add to that, really, other than that, because everyone wrote them off and said, including us, and said that they're going to have a hope in hell. But yeah, it's good to see teams shocking us on week 1, which is nice.
It's true. Thankfully, not for either of our clubs, though. So we can enjoy the upsets as long as they don't involve us. Or I can enjoy them as long as they don't involve Spurs, to be fair. Newcastle Forest. I didn't really see this game. I watched it on Match of the Day. Newcastle seemed to perform very well. Forest looked like a team that hadn't played in the Premier League before, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. They haven't played in the Premier League for years. They've obviously played in it before, but they'll get there. They'll get there.
I mean,
tough gigs.
It's a bit of a tough.
You can say from last season it's a tough gig.
It is a bit, exactly. It's a bit of a tough gig, but we'll move past. We'll move on.
The war meme there with like all the flashing bombs in the background kind of thing was visible on your face for anyone that's watching on YouTube, which we are now on, by the way. Railwatch podcast on YouTube. Spurs Southampton. Chelsea struggled. They beat Everton thanks to a penalty, which was definitely a penalty. But they struggled and they look beatable next week. But we'll talk about that in a bit. But yeah, Everton Chelsea.
It was actually hard work to watch that game. It was hard work to watch it. I should have been paid minimum wage to watch that game. It wasn't good. If anyone else watched it, it wasn't enjoyable.
I didn't mind it.
It was not enjoyable. Honestly, it was awful. My mate is a Chelsea fan, and he said he hated it. I mean, I don't blame him.
Was that just because he was nervous, though?
Maybe, but it was. Yeah, I'd rather a shift at Wetherspoons than watch that game again.
I would not go that far. The only thing that doesn't sit right with me about that game was it Holgate that went off really injured after a slide tackle or something when the ball was about a metre out of play. And if one of the officials sees that and says it's out of play, he doesn't get injured.
Yeah.
He's made the tackle after the ball's effectively dead. And it's like, that's a needless injury if you just do your job. I know it's hard. There's goalposts in the way. There's 3 officials on that pitch. It can't be that hard for one of them to see it.
It wouldn't be English football without shit refs, would it? I mean, let's be real. It wouldn't be. It wouldn't be English football.
Fair. Moving on to Sunday. Leicester-Brentford, 2-2. Didn't even see this game, to be honest. I think Leicester were 2-0 up and bottled it.
Didn't see it. I mean, we said it last week. If you weren't here last week, Leicester's a bit of a nothing team, bit of a non-event now. Right. They've. I mean, the team is dying with Jamie Vardy, so it's yeah. That's pretty much it.
Did Vardy actually play?
I don't even think he played. I'm not gonna lie.
Oh no, he did.
He did. See, there we go. We didn't even know. We didn't even know. Well, this is part of our job is to know who plays, and we didn't even. He was that much of a non-event. We didn't actually know.
Look, I'm not bothered about either side, but let's move on to the main event of the weekend: Manchester United at the Theatre of Dreams. Cambridge hates Man United with a passion, and they've just had a stinker. 2-0, 2-1, whatever
2-1?
It was. 2-1 against Brighton. How do you lose that in the manner you lost it? To be fair, I think Maguire was probably their best player. It was so bad.
To back, they were absolutely shocking. And I laughed. I giggled. Welbeck had his way. Welbeck looked like the best striker in the Prem against Man United. He could literally do anything he wanted. It was sensational. Brilliant performance.
Yeah, they from Brighton played very well. Let's not take anything away from Brighton here. United was shocking, but Brighton played very, very well. And they definitely should have had a penalty as well, so it probably could have been 3-1.
Oh yeah,
but again,
for sure.
VAR is a whole load of absolute crap. Sure. So we move. The table's interesting. You're doing better than last year.
Okay,
last year
it's not hard. It's not hard to do better than last year. But
rock bottom after week 1, or were you not quite?
We weren't quite rock bottom. I think we got off to a rocky start. I think that's the only thing we had in common with that. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, it's a good start.
Do you think you'll beat us in the league this season? Out of interest,
absolutely.
I think you'll finish above Spurs.
Absolutely. But I'm guessing that you'll guess the opposite.
Well, I will. Yeah. Are you willing? We can place a bet on this.
Hot takes here on the Rivals podcast.
A money-free bet. No promoting gambling here. You know, a harmless bet. Will you wear a Tottenham shirt on the podcast if we finish above you? And I'll do the same with an Arsenal shirt if you finish above us.
All right.
How confident are you in your
absolutely.
team?
Yeah, I'll take that bet. No problem. No problem.
You take that? If Tottenham finish above Arsenal in the league this season,
absolutely.
You're wearing a Spurs shirt.
Absolutely. I'd love to see you walk into Sports Direct and order yourself. But I want a live. We'll do a live vlog or something of you just going into Sports Direct, because I want to see the pain on your face. I want to see it.
But the thing is, you're missing the fact here. I won't need to, because we're going to finish above you, and then you have to walk into whatever shop you want. You know, other shops are available, and purchase a Tottenham shirt.
No,
and it's got beautiful highlighting on it. You know, it's lovely. It's a lovely shirt.
It absolutely won't happen. No way.
All right, well, we will virtually shake on that. If Tottenham finish above Arsenal, just like last season, you're wearing a Tottenham shirt on this podcast, and the people of YouTube, TikTok, Twitter, everything can see you.
All right, well, it won't happen, but
It will. This is where we finish like first and second,
Yeah.
and it's like, oh, I've
Yeah.
lost, but I've kind of
Yeah,
won at the same
exactly.
time.
Yeah, this is when we win Europa, you win Champions League. Everyone wins everything, but at the end of the day, one of us loses, which is
But one of us
Yeah.
still loses. Yeah. Okay. Well, moving on. Anyway, game week 2. The fixtures aren't as exciting, I don't think. Villa Everton is a bit nothingy for the lunchtime on Saturday.
Oh, just quickly,
If Villa play like they did last week, they're
we
going to be
missed out
battered.
on Man
Go
City,
on.
West Ham.
Oh yeah,
we didn't
sorry, I
touch
moved
that.
on too quickly.
I mean, well, there's not a lot to say in your defence. Haaland,
Haaland,
it was
really,
the Haaland show, pretty much. It was Haaland's coming out party. Not in that way, but he was pretty unstoppable. But again, it was West Ham.
Yeah, but West Ham aren't bad.
Yes,
David Moyes has done a pretty decent job the last couple of seasons.
yes, but I mean, when you just go into the stats a little bit, it's pretty. I mean, 75% possession for Man City.
Oh yeah, they were dominated
absolutely
by City.
dominant, and I'm a little bit nervous. Just if I was any European club, I would also be a little bit nervous.
You doubting?
No, I'm not. I said another big European club.
He's doubting his team.
Not us. I'm I'd just be a little bit nervous about that KDB Haaland connection that already seemed to have started appearing. I don't want to be,
You see, I would be a little bit nervous about that if we didn't have the deadliest duo in Premier League history in our side. So as a result, I'm chill. I'm taking it easy. Son and Kane are going to see us to the Premier League title. I'm joking. I think City will win it, but I think we'll do very well. You've got Leicester.
Yeah.
Thoughts?
Another easy dub. We'll go 2-0. Probably a 3-0.
I mean, looking at your fixtures, you should go about 6-0 at the start of this season.
Absolutely walk the first half of the year, especially if we hit off kind of the same, similar way that we did against Crystal Palace in that first half. We were dominant for about 35, 40 minutes, and then kind of shit the bed a little bit. But if we can kind of keep that, that's been the thing with Arsenal over the last couple of years. It's literally just been, we are brilliant. We have a super. Honestly, if football games were 20 minutes, Arsenal would have won the last 13 Premier League titles. Honestly, we are sensational in the first 20 minutes.
Can think of a small problem.
And then
with that.
after that, it's it's not great.
Yeah,
but
yeah. To be fair, that is quite a true statement because the first 20 minutes in the North London derby, you were the better side, and I was genuinely worried.
North London derby. We don't need to. We're not talking about.
Because I'm backing up your point.
We're not talking about last year, Dan. We're not talking about last year. Rivals podcast.
I am
because
it was
future.
Brilliant.
No, we're not.
Is
we're
it?
Not talking about it. No.
Is it?
We're not talking about it.
No.
If we want to talk about the past, we'll talk about your empty trophy cabinet. I can bring that up whenever I want. All right, we can bring that up.
But it's not empty, is it?
No,
We've
it
just
is.
not run one recently. We've still got plenty of trophies in the cabinet from the 1900s.
You don't get a here's one for taking part trophy, Dan. You can't keep those.
No.
You might invent them in the dressing room to keep Harry Kane there, but you can't.
Okay. Sorry. At least we're not holding hands in a circle, visualizing the game. If you've seen All or Nothing, you'll get that reference. If you won't, you won't. But Arteta has some strange old methods.
Go level, coach. You just couldn't understand.
They're clearly not working, are they? Brighton, Newcastle. Can't even be bothered to describe that one. City, Bournemouth. Now, this is one I am interested in.
You will get absolutely obliterated. It will probably be.
Well,
4
I'm not that
5-0.
bothered because I don't support Bournemouth. I have no loyalties towards Bournemouth, but I just want them to do well because I'm at uni there. But yeah, we're going to be battered. And I think we'll really, really struggle as soon as we hit a bigger pitch, which the Etihad is. The Vitality is a very small pitch. As soon as we have a bigger pitch, more space for the defenders to run into. Lloyd Kelly and Chris Mepham at the back are going to be all over the place. And Haaland is going to bully
He's going to
them.
have a field day. But
So Bournemouth will be 3-1 winners. No, I'm joking. I mean, I would love to see it. We love an upset. Who doesn't love an upset, especially against a title contender?
Yeah, that would kind of if Bournemouth can pull off a bit of a shock early victory, that kind of sets into my thinking of this is going to be a really, really shit year for Man City. So
Bournemouth have got a horrid run of fixtures. They got City, Liverpool, and Arsenal, I think, as their next three, which makes
to be honest, I'd
horrible
rather
anyway. And then they play you as well.
If I was to put Arsenal in Bournemouth shoes, I'd rather get the rough games out the way first. If I'm honest,
The 3 points against Villa was massive.
I'd rather
looking
get the
at that
rough games
run,
out the way and then have a nice spell where I can, you can kind of build a run and get some points. But on the other hand, it's nice to build rhythm
Got the
early in the
opposite.
year. So
It's true. Southampton, Leeds, boring. Wolves, Fulham, boring. Brentford, Man United.
0-2.
Can
0-2?
United get a
Honestly,
point?
I'd pick Brentford after what I saw last week.
Ericsson against his former
Honestly,
club.
I'd pick it. I'd pick Brentford. If anyone's got an accumulator going, again,
United just looked in
they're
disarray.
just awful. They're just shocking. And obviously, there's going to be I don't know if you've seen this on social media, but there's going to be a planned
I know
walkout.
it, yeah.
So
When isn't there at Man United? Who would voluntarily watch that football?
who's
I
buying
want
a
what
ticket
they're
in the
taking
first
if they
place?
voluntarily go.
Honestly, yeah. We'll see. We'll see. But
Like, do you want a season ticket in the Stretford end?
No.
No, I don't. Thanks. I'm good. No man deserves that level of suffering.
but yeah.
Yeah, they're not fantastic. Anyway, moving on to Sunday, Forest West Ham. I think that'll be quite a spicy fixture, actually.
Yeah. No. Again, I think it'll be another tough test for Forest. So we'll see. I mean, West Ham, I've had a bit of a rough start facing City. No one really wants to face a title contender on the first day unless you're Fulham.
No.
But
Or us, and we beat them last year.
Okay. Again, I bring up the past. We don't talk about the past. If you want me to bring up the cobweb-ridden,
You bring that up whenever you want, my friend. It's all going to change this year.
Bring it up. I will continue to bring it up.
You do that.
And obviously, the last fixture on the Sunday is Chelsea Spurs.
Huge fixture, Chelsea Spurs. We just cannot win at Stamford Bridge. I don't know when we last did it. I know Dele Alli scored and Caballero was in goal for Chelsea. I can't actually remember the year. 16, 17, something like that. But Chelsea look shaky. We look very good.
It'll be.
I'm not saying we're going to win it. I'm saying it's our best chance for a long time.
It'll be a good game. That's all I'll give you. I think it will be a good game.
Thanks.
Because Chelsea did look a little bit shaky. But they are.
Chelsea have had some devastating news there, and that Ross Barkley has picked up a thigh injury.
No.
And that is.
Well, they might as well sack in the season. They might as well sack in the season.
That could ruin them.
They might as well sack it in. Honestly, forget it. You
know what? I thought it had hit rock bottom when they sent Danny Drinkwater on loan to Reading, but this could be even worse for them. Tuchel may as well leave now.
It could be.
Bring in Big Sam. Save them from relegation now.
Bring Lampard back. He'll fix it. Don't worry about it.
Ooh. Do you know, I'm not sure Gerrard's much better, to be fair, at the moment. And I quite like Gerrard last season.
He was good.
But just absolute shambles. No, do you know what? I don't know if this is a bold prediction or not. But I still don't think we'll start any new signings at Chelsea. I think we'll stick with exactly the same 11 that we... no, I don't. I think we'll play Doherty instead of Royale. But other than that, I think we'll stick with the same 11. No, will we play Perisic because he's more experienced in high-pressure games? But Sessegnon had such a good game. Oh, what a lovely problem to have. I don't know. I don't know. You're going, should I start Tomiyasu or should I start Ben White? Which evil do I want?
It was a great defensive performance from us for the first... Saliba...
It was a clean sheet.
If Saliba's going to play that way for the rest of the year, fine. I don't care who you stick next to him. Saliba was fantastic, I'd say. And Zinchenko as well.
Yeah, I saw that Zinchenko had a lot of positive feedback from it.
You can tell that man has come from a winning squad. That's all. Like just the way he plays, you can tell that he's actually been a part of a successful team. Just the way he kind of just positions himself and distributes the ball. I thought he was brilliant. I thought he actually gets my Player of the Week vote for Arsenal. I was going to give it. I was going to give it to Saliba. But I think Zinchenko was just a little bit more solid.
It's not easy to finish like that. He was looking in the wrong direction and he still managed to get it in the goal. The wrong goal and the right direction. But we move. Monday Night Football, Liverpool go Selhurst Park.
I don't know.
I was going to say they'll walk it, but I can't say that now.
I'm really sorry, but I don't know. Crystal Palace, they played us and they looked decent for like 45 minutes. That could, at this point, that could be enough to break Liverpool. Because honestly,
they look shaky.
They look shaky. But again, it's the first game of the season, so they could come back. Klopp could whip them into shape, and make sure the grass is nice and wet, and then they'll be fine.
Oh yeah, it's can't be having dry. Oh, but then the wind might be the wrong direction, or the sun might be out, or
If
it's
he might use the wrong
devastating, really.
toothpaste that morning. You never know. You never know what excuse this man is going to come out with.
He will come out with literally
Yeah,
anything, won't he? It really makes me laugh, and dearie me.
yeah.
I mean, normally we talk about a whole load of news and stuff, but it's the first game week of the season. There's not really any news to
There's
talk
not
about
much news going around.
other than just how fantastic Tottenham Hotspur were.
I mean, I'll knock on wood that it continues for the rest of the year, because I mean, if our teams continue to win for the rest of the year, it's going to be good. It's going to be spicy. The episodes are going to be nice.
I feel like this is one of few podcasts though that we're both happy in.
I mean, yeah,
there will be a point where one of us turns up to one of these podcasts absolutely fuming when their team loses 4-0 on the south coast to Southampton.
That episode is coming. I completely appreciate that. But after week 1, we're both happy. We're actually agreeing on the majority of points.
We are actually. This is very bad for the first episode that's going to be on YouTube.
If you wanted a wholesome episode, just turn this way.
Yeah, this is the podcast for you. Yeah. For nice friendly chat. We've still argued about a few things, but the thing that brings us all together, and I think brings every football fan together, is just how bad Manchester United are.
Fantastic.
That's what brings us together.
Fantastic. It was actually brilliant to watch them just crumble. Just crumble. I'm trying to look up the name of their new centre back. Maybe you can help me with that. Can you remember the name of their new
Martinez? The 5 foot, 5 foot, 4 foot, whatever his height is.
4 foot Argentine guy that they've got playing next to Harry Maguire. It's like watching Dumb and Dumber.
The genuine factor is, I think Maguire was their best player. I'm not even saying that
because bless him,
he did okay.
Bless him, he looks so out of position. Danny Welbeck, bless him, he's not the best striker the Premier League has to offer, and that man had his way. Literally, he could have taken him out for a drink afterwards.
The whole team.
He was absolutely fantastic. And, when you put him up against the likes of Haaland, is going to score so many goals this season. And
you've changed the tune.
Just against Man United. He will be the top scorer this year, just off playing Man United twice.
You see, I look at that United team. We dropped 6 points to them last season. Don't get me wrong, the 3-0 we lost, I'm delighted we lost because we sacked Nuno and appointed Conte. But then we lost the other one as well. And I'm like, how do we take 6 off City and then drop them all to Manchester United?
I mean,
only Tottenham would do that. I don't get it.
It's going to be the easiest bank heist in the world at Old Trafford this year. Just walking in, knowing that you are going to walk away with 3 points, because that club is in disarray, and it is absolutely fantastic. I love it.
Ten Hag is a good manager as well. Like what he did with Ajax, especially in that Champions League run, and I'm not just saying that because we beat them. I'm saying it's like genuinely an amazing Champions League run. He's not a bad manager. So the fact that they still look so just god awful.
It's actually unsavable.
What is going on?
Watching Mark Goldbridge. I keep getting people's names wrong. Watching him just react to Man United's honest shambles is fantastic, because it just sums up the whole club. It's brilliant.
I can't remember if it was him that said it. I think it was, but he said something along the lines of, going out in the whole world to find a right back and returning with Wan-Bissaka is like going to find a wife and returning with your cousin. He's like, how have you ended up with that?
Exactly.
I think that just sums up all of their recent signings, except Ronaldo, who was sat on the bench having a ham sandwich. Why are you, Ben? I know that he's been disrespectful in pre-season.
He wants nothing to do with it.
He's your best option.
He wants nothing. As soon as Ten Hag turned up, he literally turned to him and said, I want absolutely nothing to do with this club anymore. Put me on the bench. I'll have my ham sandwich. And you can just try and just fix the absolute shit house.
Do you remember a few years ago in the FA Cup? I can't remember who it was, but there was a goalkeeper that ate a pie on the bench.
Yeah, no, it was a FA Cup match.
I feel like that is going to be what United turn into, the laughing stock of the Premier League.
It's brilliant.
And I am absolutely here for it.
We could talk about it all day. We could talk about Man United.
We really could. Don't really have time, but I would love to talk about United all day. But anyway, that is basically it, because it's been a very quiet game week. We look ahead to game week 2, which is happening, the 10th today. Just a few days. I'm excited. I'm also really nervous. I don't get nervous for football games, but the sort of top 5, can't count United, can we? Let's be real. The top 5 games, I do get nervous throughout the week for, and I'm quite nervous about Chelsea. I'm hopeful, but it's nervous.
It will be a tough test for you, and I think
I think it'll be a good
it'll be
game.
a tough test, but it'll also be a really good indicator of what your season's going to be like, and that's the only downside for us. Is our schedule until early September is very easy.
It's easy.
And I don't.
Your first big games against United,
Okay,
which
not big game.
we need to
It's
explain.
not a big game. It's not, because United
right,
United will be in relegation by that point, so we don't need to worry about that.
Are they in relegation?
No, they're not right now.
I don't think they will be, will they?
No,
they're 13th with -1.
But yeah, I think the only problem we're going to run into, and I think the way I'd sum up our game week 1, is that it was a solid performance that gradually worse, but I still don't. After watching them game week 1, we still don't have that kind of killer gene. We don't have like that. We smell blood, and we put the game away early. We kind of scuffed a few chances, and then we let Crystal Palace kind of break and put more and more pressure onto us. But then we're very lucky Saka got a deflected finish at the end to kind of put the game to bed.
Yeah, so that was quite annoying. When
yeah,
I mean, it was, actually.
Yeah. I tried to claim it as a great finish, but it really wasn't. But yeah, I mean that's my kind of sum up of what happened in week 1.
The other thing I wanted to mention, but forgot very quickly before I finish. Thomas Partey starting a game of football, really?
I mean, it's
really?
like
it's not confirmed it's him, and we're not saying it is him. We're just speculating about all these rumors flying around. But given the situation, just in case it's him, why are you starting him? Not you, I know it's not still you, but surely you think that's a bad look.
I just wouldn't know.
If that was Tottenham, I'd be baffled. It was like when Zuma started, and I'm not being funny, but if these allegations are true, it's worse than Zuma.
I mean, football's weird, isn't it? You get these types of things, and it's like, I don't know. If he's had a conversation with Arteta, and and it said, they're not the allegations aren't true, then that's fine. But if it's this is something serious. So
even when we signed Bazuma, I was a bit like, because he had like a sexual assault case against him when we signed him, which has been dropped now. But I was still a bit like, is this the best in the world?
I think you've got to lay down the law. I think it's got to be like, if a football player, this is Premier League wide. This is not just like in Arsenal. If a player is under those types of allegations, no matter if they're like true or false, they shouldn't really be put center stage.
There's no smoke without fire.
They shouldn't really be put center stage. Especially in the Premier League when there's thousands of people watching live, and then another million watching at home. You're kind of sending the wrong message there. So I think,
as much as
Premier League wide, we just need to kind of say, look, if those types of allegations are going on, you can't really play.
Yeah, as much as I don't like Saka at all because he plays for Arsenal, and you don't like Harry Kane at all because he plays for Spurs, and you think he's rubbish, even though you're talking total rubbish, they are a perfect professional in the sense that they've never been in the wrong at all. They stay in the limelight for all the right reasons. That's the kind of player you want at your club, not your Thomas Partey's and Kurt Zuma's that probably aren't in the right sort of limelight. But anyway, that will just about sum it up for episode 2, episode number 1 that's going to be on YouTube, episode 2 on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Give us 5-star review and all that good stuff. You can do that on Spotify now as well, which I only found out the other day, which is quite a useful little feature for us.
Give us 5 stars.
Trying to remember our social handles. Twitter is _Rivals Podcast or Rivals Podcast _. But I can't remember where the underscore goes.
This is not a good
advert. And it's exactly the same for Instagram. And it is Rivals Podcast _ Rivals Podcast _ TikTok's Rivals Podcast, YouTube's Rivals Podcast, Rivals Podcast _ for the social medias. I think that just about sums it up, really. Game week 2. Oh, we didn't get a score prediction. Game week 2 for your game.
I'm going to say 2-0 again. I think 2-0.
Fair.
I think, it'll be a very similar performance to what we saw. And I think it'll be a very similar team as well.
I'm gonna go kind of bold. I'm going to say 3-2
Oh,
to Spurs for Chelsea, because we've both got quite good attacking
I would have
talents.
said,
And I would either say 1-0 or
yeah,
3-2, and I didn't know what one to
I
say.
was going to say that.
So I thought I'd just make
I
it
think it's
interesting.
either going to be a very good game or an equally shit game where you're both kind of just cancelling each other out.
Oh,
Yeah,
police
no, they're
have
going
come.
to arrest Klopp. But yeah, for his shit excuses. But yeah,
Yeah. Anyway, thank you very much for listening. We'll join you back after game week 2, where hopefully we'll both be in just as good as mood as we are now. But we'll see. We'll see, really. Thank you very much for listening.